from Buenos Aires, and I say kill them all. And this is the science fiction rating system. My name is Sam, and I'm joined by Alex.
Hello.
And Chris.
Howdy doody.
And we are here as ever to rank every science fiction film ever made from 1 to infinity. We have 21 films on our list, and we're adding 3 more this week. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Good.
Yeah, really good. This was a really good week for me. I loved all these films.
Yeah?
Really strong, yeah. Bug Week. Bug Week always does it, doesn't it?
Infinity for insects on the big screen.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, every Bug Week rolls round, and it's nice to celebrate some way, isn't it? And so
this is probably one of the best. I remember the 3rd annual Bug Week was good, but this 19th is pretty strong. It's a strong Bug Week.
Strong Bug Week, yeah.
Yeah.
Next year's got something to hard to top, really, isn't it? But yeah. So we before we get going, a little bit of housekeeping. ScienceFictionRatingSystem.com is live. The website, you can check the list out for real now. I've been saying it for weeks, but it's really there now. Just go and check it out. We'll be changing our format a bit next week, but we'll discuss that a little bit more at the end.
And we've got a growing audience, haven't we? You just told us.
Yes, we are. The people are listening, which is good. I had a bit of feedback from a few people who seem to be enjoying it. So
great. It's
all good. The list is growing. There's no animation this week, so there'll be no arguments, hopefully. So, yeah, I think we're all good.
Yeah,
cool. So this week, it is Bug Week, and we're discussing Starship Troopers, District 9, and The Fly. Is there any news, anything to mention before we start? And has anything big happened? What were you saying about Avatar, Chris? There's been a...
Oh, they put back the 4 sequels to Avatar back until, I think, 2020 is the first one.
Bloody hell. So that'll be 12 years after the...
Yeah.
No, 11 years after the first
4.
one.
And they're going to be shooting concurrently like they did the Lord of the Rings, I think.
It's insane, isn't it?
Sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Who asked for this? Who asked for
they're
this
underwater
Avatar?
as well. At least one of them's underwater.
That's pretty cool, though.
Okay.
So,
is it going to link to the Abyss?
Probably.
I hope so, I like the Abyss.
Yeah.
Have either of you seen Avatar recently at all?
Yeah,
no.
It's on telly every now and again.
Is it all right?
It looks like a video game a lot of the time, but I quite like the film and the themes and
I'm looking forward to ranking
good.
it.
It's good sci-fi. It's all the stuff is good. Except the whole premise of I just think it's a bit silly, like how you can get into a machine and control a thing.
A thing, yeah.
Because they haven't really said that there's also like telepathy going on, or whatever it is that sends that information. They don't even talk about that, but we'll get. Yeah.
The 2 things I remember about it are the start when he's like in that little pod thing.
Yeah.
I remember in 3D that looks incredible, like with all the pods going back. That's
there's like some floating water or something in front of him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
3D was really good.
When he's still on the ship, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
The science side of that film is really good, like how they explain it's like 5 light years away, but the ship can only go like 0.8 light years. So their time on board is like, it feels like a year. It's all done really well. It's like, it's super cool.
Well, that's for another episode anyway.
Scanner Darkly is coming out on Blu-ray special edition.
Oh, yeah.
If people want to watch the worst science fiction film of all time on Blu-ray, they can. It's coming out soon, so...
As you said about Avatar, it sort of applies here as well. Who asked for that? Who asked for the reissue Scanner Darkly? Very strange.
We won't be sending them a quote.
No.
To go on the box.
And also, I suppose the biggest sci-fi news was the Last Jedi teaser trailer. We all seen that?
It was a bit
meh.
Bit what, sorry?
It's a bit meh.
I really liked it.
Well, it looked pretty cool.
Have you seen it side by side to the teaser from Force Awakens?
No.
It's the same. It's the same timing, and the composition of the shot is the same, and the what's in the shot is the same.
Isn't it? They both start with the breathing, don't they?
Yeah, it's literally.
That's weird.
It works. Where's the formula?
There's a shot of like Vader's helmet, and then in this one, there's a shot of his crushed helmet. It's it's mirrored.
So it must be deliberate. They must be working towards something.
I mean, that was a really good that teaser from Force Awakens. I remember that vividly when that was a really good teaser.
The Millennium Falcon diving.
I mean, because that just went, whoa!
Yeah.
No, what it was the X-Wings along the water.
Oh, yeah, in the water.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they've even done a very similar thing in this one, haven't they? It's like composed the
scraping
same. Check it out side by side. I think you'll laugh.
Oh, I'll have a look, yeah. Cool.
And also, I was going to say, did you see, was there a backlash on like a Coke or Pepsi ad with one of the Kardashians?
You sent that link. I didn't understand what I was looking at. I didn't know what it was.
It was, but I think in mainstream culture, there's been a big backlash against some fucking bad advert. I'm just going to get it up now. And basically, someone had made a They Live version of it. Again, it just shows how consumerism, and basically one of like the They Live like creatures in black and white, with like the skeleton face, hands her the can of Coke. It's really funny. Yeah. But,
it was good, even though I didn't really understand what I was looking at.
Kendall Jenner's Pepsi commercial, check it out. Yeah, basically it was because they made it look like she was one of the the black women that stood against the riot police when there was riots going on.
Right.
They basically did a parody of that, and then people are going, this is complete bullshit because she's just selling Coke or Pepsi.
Right. Right, I get it. Yeah. Cool. Okay, should we get to the films?
Yeah.
Go.
First off this week is from 1997, Paul Verhoeven's Starship Troopers. Chris, would you like to give us a little synopsis of this film?
Yeah, Starship Troopers. This is one of my favourites, actually. I quite like this film. And on the face of it, it looks like a bit of a stupid war film where men and women are fighting large bugs on different planets. But it's based on a novel. And the themes which are showed on the film are, there's a lot of it's very relevant now because there's like callbacks to modern advertising. Basically, the long and short of it is there's a group of school kids. I guess they'd be like teenagers, but they're in this fascist society where you have to join the military if you want to become a citizen. They all go into the different branches of the military. And then you basically see them go through this war, and that sort of goes in one direction or another, and basically they kind of come together at the end. But you kind of see all the different branches of the military and where they go and what this fight's about, and you sort of see how this future world is, how it plays out. It's good fun. But as I said, it shows like it's a weird society that they're in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a militaristic. It's kind of like maybe it's got a bit of Nazi tones to the uniforms and
massively.
You kind of wonder, well, maybe is this a post the Nazis have won the World War II type thing, but it's not.
Yeah, no, it's much more insidious than that. It's just
and all the cast are all the cast are models, basically, aren't they? They're good-looking models.
Yeah, there's a very soap star look to them, and
it's cool. I mean, everything about it, I love. I love the spaceships. I think are the best spaceships in sci-fi. I just love them, and the effects are great. The stories, it keeps moving, and they keep doing these little news stabs as we go through. Like it's and it's also shown in like an interactive way where you sort of click on bits of the screen, and that was sort of pre-interactive news. That's quite cool. The music's great. It's with all these films tonight, I thought they've actually, I don't know if it's about the bug thing, but there's little bits of intense gore in all three of them.
Loads of gore, yeah.
The violence is pretty serious in this one.
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw it and I was like, what the hell am I watching? Should I be watching this? I think I don't know how old I was.
I think we were 14 when it came out, 13 or 14.
What do you guys think?
Okay.
Oh, Neil Patrick Harris is in it as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
love it as well. I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was always aware it was a satire, but not as much as it played out this time for me, and it was all the better for it, really. Like it was It reminded me a lot more of RoboCop, another Paul Verhoeven film, this time around. A lot in the way of the send up of a fascist society and sort of militarism and all that business. And yeah, I think that like it just for a film on that scale to have its tongue so far in its cheek. Is sort of unprecedented in a way. Like, it's played so straight. And I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I used to read SFX magazine at the time this came out as a teenager, and it was savaged. It was really, really badly received because it was a bit of a silly, schlocky sort of action film. But like, it was just missing the point. And I think that it's more relevant now than ever. Like it does with the rise of like the right and Trump and Le Pen and all that. It's showing the sort of dangers of a fascist society in a way that doesn't make you feel like you're being preached to, which I really appreciate.
It kind of shows how you could slowly become that society. Like the Nazis didn't have to win the war, but really they are. You could go in that direction quite quickly, couldn't you? Yeah,
and how like it happens. How it happens with the majority of the population thinking this is brilliant. Like for the rich kids who are, becoming citizens, or mummy and daddy let them come home and live on the ranch or whatever, it's great and it's fantastic. And I think it just, as I say, very tongue-in-cheek, and I don't think anybody else could really get away with a film on that scale. Like Paul Verhoeven in the 90s was hot property, wasn't he, really? He got a lot of...
I think it would. I think it would suffer. It would suffer if the effects, like the bug effects and the aliens, if that was poor in any way. But I think it really stands up still. I think it's a really good quality.
The effects are brilliant.
Film.
Yeah. So, Alex, what do you think about?
No, well, I've always liked it. I've always thought it was really good. I think I agree with everything you're saying. I think in a way, its problem is it's almost too clever.
Yeah.
And I think maybe why it was savaged, why people didn't see it. It's like Blur's Girls and Boys, which is like supposed to be a joke about those people, and then those people embraced it. It's almost like people didn't see what it was doing because he does it so kind of cleverly. And like reading. I mean, I've never read the Robert A. Heinlein book. I don't know the book at all. But reading up on Paul Verhoeven. How it was made, because they only got the name because they were making a film that was pretty much the same as Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Because they had a story that was, and everyone was like, well, look, you're going to get, I guess they were like, you're going to get sued because your story is pretty much the same, so you better buy the rights, so then you can, and there's that great thing I read that Verhoeven started reading the book and just gave up because it was depressing and too fascist, and just said to his writer, look, you read it, I can't be asked to read this, basically.
Brilliant.
And like you say, him at that point, like RoboCop is amazing, and what it does is so amazing. How it plays this game of just like giving you what you want, but then really showing you the other side of it. And he does exactly the same here.
Yeah.
And what I think is really impressive with this is, like the whole beginning, like it's like 25 minutes. It's just like a teen movie. Like they go to a prom. There's a football game. There's a silly
Denise
love
Richards.
triangle. Yeah, Denise. It's just this kind of naff.
The biggest nod to it being not just a straight-up action flick is the fact that they do spend so long building up the teenage characters just to basically slaughter them and stab them and rip them apart. And that's the kind of bit that tips you off to hang on. Perhaps this isn't as meant to be played straight as you think it is.
Well, he put just all those things, like the brilliant bit when they go and sign up and the guy's like a triple amputee and he's like, the infantry made me the man I am today. It's really fucking dark. Like it's jet black. Like the comedy is so dark, and all the bit where the guy throws a knife, the trainer throws a knife through the guy's hand.
Jake Bootsy.
And it's so brutal, and it's funny, but it's also, he's really showing you, look, this, war's, it's not, it's a horrible, brutal, so many characters get killed, like, you kind of know the three are going to make it to the end. There's been a lot of
amputees used in the casting of that film. Like,
yeah, definitely. But
I like, to go after that knife sink thing as well, and obviously the guy dies in the live fire exercise.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they do the public whipping.
Yeah.
All those shots, bright sunshine, brightly lit. It's all very perfect and clean and not what you'd normally expect from that sort of scene.
No.
It's like It's brilliant, yeah. Really,
and it's so great the way Rico gets promoted, but he just gets promoted because everyone dies around him. He basically just survives. What he does is he survives.
In war films.
Yeah, exactly. But you in that kind of teen movie, the setup it gives you, I think it's very similar to District 9 in that the setup, District 9 plays with the documentary format. This kind of plays with this kind of teen movie. Like, yeah, let's go off and join the war. Like, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's an adventure. Yeah. And then it just throws all this other stuff at you sideways, and you're just in the middle. And the effects, I think, still held up. The battles are great. Set pieces.
The Clandathu drop thing with the fleet, and then the drop, and then the fleet gets smashed up. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean,
the music on that bit is just fantastic.
Yeah.
I can listen to that all day.
Yeah.
I don't know how the book differs from the film as far as the intelligence of the bugs. I feel like in the book they're more of a threat because they're shown as more actual insects in the film.
Well, I like that they wait till halfway through, and there's just like a throwaway line by Denise Richards, isn't she, where she says, "Oh well, the bugs didn't attack us until we started blowing up their planets."
Yeah,
and it's like sort of an afterthought, isn't it? And you're like, "Oh shit! Like we're the bad guys here. The bugs are just defending themselves."
Yeah.
Well, that's why I mean, like, because they don't seem like that much of a threat in the film. Really.
Oh, they're not, are they? Yeah, no.
I mean, obviously you sort of have to let a lot of stuff go because there's no way that a bug could be able to shoot a spaceship out of the sky.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They throw that,
without science.
They're not a threat on purpose, aren't they? They're very they're the other, aren't they? They're like it's like colonialism. That we're going into the other, and we don't know. It's like tribes, things like that. We don't know what they do. They're very alien. And they'll overwhelm us with numbers, but in the end, we'll smash them down. It's that kind of thing, isn't it?
And all we want is like beach resorts on these planets. We don't want bugs.
Yeah. But isn't it in the book? Don't they have big metal suits like in Edge of Tomorrow? Don't they?
Yes, they do. Yeah, they have
mech suits. So, and obviously, I think he made the right decision making it real people because then that links right back to it. World War II. It makes it feel more militaristic, more real. I think if they're in big mech suits, you probably would lose the human aspect of everyone dying. Like,
they're only like the ones that Tom Cruise had in the other one. There's still people in them.
They're in the sequel, aren't they? The suits.
Sorry,
they're in one of the sequels, definitely.
Yeah.
The third one, maybe.
Yeah, there's an animated series of this as well. I'm sure there is. I think I've seen it.
Oh right.
There's lots of sequels.
I'll come back to the sequels at the end because I want to say something about that, but. I've got a point now. Sometimes I do that.
Someone told us, I think we were at school, Sam, and I think our history teacher told us that it was a comment on Pearl Harbor.
Right, okay.
How they hit Buenos Aires with the what's it, and then we go all
excessive
out
force back.
War, yeah.
Yeah. Because she says Hiroshima, doesn't she, in the film? She says...
Yeah, they talk about it. But there's a lot of, not that I want to bring it up. I don't want to bring up Ghost in the Shell. But there's quite a lot of heavy kind of political, social, philosophical things that they just throw in those classes in there. Especially the Michael Ironside character. Him, his philosophies, which I guess are ripped from the book... his philosophy is, power is force, and civilians are
nothing.
Violence
is the ultimate.
You have to go through the military to be allowed to vote, have a baby, write a book, all this stuff. Like it is, they very cleverly bring that in and show you, and they make you. You do think about it, but it's really cleverly slipped in without you really noticing.
Yeah, I think that's testament to the casting. I think they did a really good job with getting the kids right because it is all offset against the kids being kids.
Yeah.
But and they all sort of, they're too perfect. As Chris said, they're all like blonde and beautiful and all this sort of stuff. But they're all, like very relatable and very human in a lot of ways. And Jake Busey's character is sort of just fantastic because you can't decide whether he's an idiot or not. And sort of,
I feel sorry for him at the end because at the end he's still a private.
Yeah.
At least he survives. He's one of the few people that gets to the end.
Do you know Jake Busey learnt the violin for that film?
Did he?
Really?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. He's a drummer.
That's commitment.
The electric violin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird. That's all.
Yeah, no, it's a good. That is odd, isn't it? It's like he brings up the beers and then the case with the violin.
Yeah. There's a massive flight case with a football in it.
Yeah, football and the violin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the perfect role for those actors because, like, what's his name, Casper Van Diem, is it?
Yeah.
What else has he done?
He was in Sleepy Hollow. He was good in Sleepy Hollow.
He's in the third Starship Troopers, isn't he, as well?
Yeah.
But
I think I've seen that one. I haven't seen the second one.
I haven't seen.
Well, yeah, I've seen the sequels. The second one, I have seen the second one. It's terrible because the second one basically misses the point of the first one, and it's just an action film without any of the commentary and the social satire.
I think in the third one they have flying suits and there's this kind of quasi-religious element to it about angels that was really odd. I remember watching it and just being like, you've missed what this film was, what made these films good.
God, so I've not seen the third one, but I read a review of it saying that it doubles down on the satire the third one does, but perhaps it doesn't. I want to watch it because it was saying that like it sort of follows on from the first one in, making a lot of...
I think they both suffer from their visual effects significantly of shit compared to the first one.
Definitely.
They
they're
really suffer.
both direct to video, aren't they? The sequels, I think.
Yeah,
Second one definitely was. Yeah.
And that's...
No, I mean,
Go on.
Considering that film's 20 years old, the effects are still...
Well, there's no bit of them bugs no shots of them bugs where you go, that's fake. I don't know what it... I think they're designed so they will... roto in well.
I think
that makes sense. They're designed from the outset, so they will composite.
Yeah. It helps that it's so bright as well, isn't it? It's so well lit, and then when they go to the night shots,
normally you can lose things in the darks, and that they haven't done that.
I suppose, but like you have to do all the shadows and stuff, do you? Like they're just like a big horde coming towards you.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
I always think that's where I think shadow technology is where like old films fall down, isn't it? That's where I don't know what the word for it is, but the shading on a face, whatever, they stick out against the rest of the cast, don't they? That doesn't really happen. I mean, also they're not human, are they? So it's easier to make a I
mean, you kind of think like because there's a shot where like the fighters come in and just bomb the shit out of all these bugs.
Yeah, and
you just go, well, why don't they just like have attack helicopters and just do that? Why are they walking around on the ground?
Because they need to slaughter the popular. They need a ground war. They need millions to die to reinforce the notion that
their own
we need a military
back.
And also they underestimate them completely. I mean, the Clondarthi thing is like it's very much like Edge of Tomorrow, isn't it? They completely underestimate that they're clever enough to have worked out. Yeah, to form properly and to mass and attack, they just get it completely wrong, and then that's the whole brain bug thing, which is just gross. That brain bug is like just this horriblest thing, isn't it? Yeah. Its mouth, it's just that. It's still. I remember thinking that was horrible the first time I saw it. It was just as horrible. Yeah.
The only bit that like I'd be a bit critical of is I feel like they cut the middle of Neil Patrick Harris's story out.
Yeah,
like when he comes back as part of like their SS equivalent, whatever they call the psychic thing. Yeah. He's such like a hard badass or whatever, and he's really like, we've got to do for the good of things. But you don't really see that progression. I know because he's off world and stuff.
There should have been a little scene in the middle where he was sort of making a hard decision.
You see him in the propaganda video, don't you?
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought I'd like to see more from that angle of it.
And I think there's a bit more of a like the love triangle cut out as well between Rico, Denise Richards and that other guy.
The other one.
Well, I read that they did preview screenings and there was stuff that was cut out because they didn't think it worked very well. Mainly, to do with Denise Richards' character and like kind of people reacted that thought she was a real bitch and how she reacted and stuff like that.
I mean,
if you read up on it, there is things
she's just grinning like an idiot all the way through. Really, I mean,
she just can't act, can she? But I mean, that's the perfect role for her, isn't it? Like she's the airhead sort of.
Yeah.
But she's doing the hardest job in the whole. She's supposed to be like fucking best pilot.
Yeah,
turns up as a captain of a ship.
But that's a commentary in itself, isn't it? Of that idea of like
top grade, dingbat.
It's just nonsense, isn't it? Like the whole thing's nonsense. Well, the way she steers the ship as well, I find that hilarious. That like. She's got that little like control gear stick she's got, and she just does a little like turn. The ship like does like a 180 turn.
Oh, that's brilliant!
Like how are these slow moving things hitting you?
That's the best. That's brilliant. When she's backing out.
Yeah.
The music's great as well.
Yeah, the music for that film is brilliant. Clondarthi Drop is a fantastic piece of music.
Yeah,
like it's such a stirring sort of theme. And also, it doesn't really come into it until even halfway through the film, does it? You don't hear it until they do get to the planet, and then it keeps recurring after that. But yeah, it's a really good motif. Okay, I think Anything more to say? I think we've covered that pretty much, haven't we?
The helmets were used
positive.
in the... because I saw... Oh, what is it? Oh, yeah, the Planet of the Apes. You know, the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you know when he gets back in the ship at the end and then he turns up on Earth and then there's, like, police who are, like...
Oh, yeah.
You know, he crashes into the memorial, the Lincoln Memorial. Them police have got the same...
thinking about that film.
Them police have got the helmets from the mobile infantry.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah,
That's a bit weird.
I think it was just a reuse of a prop. You know.
You know what? I'll save that actually. I've got a proper reuse in District 9 as well. But we'll say that when we get to that. Okay, shall we rank this film?
Yes.
Oh,
I think we're all pretty much positive on this. Alex, do you want to go first? Where do you think
I
you
would
go?
say 6. So under Predator to above Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, Chris?
I would go also 6. No, I wouldn't. I'm going to take that back. Cut that.
Okay.
I'll go 4. And I mean it.
Okay. I'd go 5.
Yeah.
I think it's
So we're going to go
better than
5
Predator
then.
2, but not as good as Ghost in the Shell.
Okay.
So that's where it sits then.
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah. It was easy.
Ah.
Cool. It's a good start. Yeah, good film.
It's weird though
glad we
because
rewatched
it's not
it, as I say.
like the acting's not fantastic, is it? And as soon as like anything of a little bit sort of tense happens, the acting goes to pot.
Yeah, but that's again. That's why I think the casting's so good because that plays into it, doesn't it? It plays into the sort of melodrama of the war being so ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's for you to see how serious it is. The characters don't take it seriously at all. It's just like a spring break, isn't it? You know, like it's to them, it's just this kind of like it's fun, it's entertaining fun, and it's for you. Like I say, I think that's where maybe people got it wrong. Is that people just watched it and went, "Yeah, this looks brilliant. I'd like to live there. That sounds great." You know,
and also thought, well, they can't act, but
yeah. But they're probably
plays
doing
really well
exactly
against-
what he wanted. Verhoeven probably told them to do it that
totally,
way.
yeah, because like the awful over dramatic acting as they get ripped to shreds is such a brilliant juxtaposition, isn't it? Of like, you know, terrible acting with gruesome death is a good, good combo.
It's just what you want to see.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So our first film's done. Starship Troopers.
Scientific
at number 5.
improbability on that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They talk about where their planet is, the bugs, and where ours is, and they're like opposite sides of the galaxy.
Yeah.
And that would be like
Take a while to get there.
50,000 light years.
Yeah.
Now I assume they travel faster than they do in Star Trek because that would be like 100 years in Star Trek to travel that far. But
do they go into how they're travelling?
well, they've got that they've got that warp drive thing, don't they? The ships do. But what I'm saying is they're throwing these asteroids at planet Earth.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're not travelling anywhere near what they need to be to get
Also,
there
why not just shoot
in
them out
a
the
billion
sky?
years. Well, they do, but
why don't they
obviously
shoot
miss
them
one.
out the
Well, no,
sky?
because they want Buenos Aires to blow up, don't they? That's what I think.
Oh yeah, you're
let it
thinking
film purpose,
meta.
don't they?
Propaganda.
Yeah.
Maybe they did it. Maybe the bugs didn't even throw the asteroids.
How do you aim?
Maybe, yeah.
How do you aim an asteroid across the galaxy at a city?
Those bugs are really clever.
Yeah. It's interesting that it's Buenos Aires, though, isn't it? Out of all the places it could be, like at where the film's based.
Yeah, I always wonder about that.
Is that to do with the book?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I
Is
think
it like a
is.
future Latino superpower sort of idea? You know, like how they're the building superpowers at the moment, aren't they? South America.
I thought it was either that or a comment on sort of globalization and the fact that, like, in the future we'll all just be American.
And
you know?
everyone
Well,
will
see,
look
that's
like,
what- see, that's
everyone
funny,
will
that's
look
what
like Denise
Casper-
Richards.
Yeah, when people had a go at Casper Van Dien for like playing, how can you be white and play that character? That's exactly his answer. Was that we're in this world where everyone has just kind of homogenized and just become white,
right.
which is a really good answer. Like, so you know, that's I think that's actually
There are some of the races in the. I thought that at first, but there are some of the races in the dropship with them.
Oh yeah. The guy out of the Y, isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't he?
yeah.
There's a guy out of Breaking Bad in it as well.
Yes, Hank is
he's the
general, isn't he?
major or whatever.
There's a lot of characters like that come up. Who, the woman, the captain of the ship Denise Richards is on, what's she in? Because I don't know her as well.
But she's dodgy, isn't it?
She is.
Abandoned ship.
No, I'll tell you what.
She gets killed in the door, doesn't she? That's a pretty
she
good
does.
death.
Yeah, it's a good death.
That's a good one.
It's like they're hoping to used up every sort of way of killing someone.
It's running out.
You die in the door. Goodbye.
Okay, that's the first film. We're going to go for a break, and then we'll return with District 9. And we are back with our second film of the evening. This is District 9.
Who is what was the captain from? You said you'd tell us.
Oh yes, she was in Seinfeld.
There you go.
The latest series of Seinfeld. Not for many episodes, but a few. Yes, District 9 from 2009, directed by Neil Blomkamp, who did Elysium, which was bad.
Chappie.
Oh, I liked
Chappie, which was bad.
I did like Chappie.
This was his first feature. But before this, though, he was working on a Halo thing, and all the guns in this are actually Halo guns, just repurposed. That was my little prop thing I was going to say before.
Are they in Halo or just they were?
Yeah, no,
did they?
They're the Halo designs. You never actually made the film, so you just use them in this. So yeah, District 9. It's got bugs in it again. In this case, the bugs have come from outer space in a big ship that has landed. Well, not landed, has hovered above.
They're more sentient, aren't they? These bugs. They're more.
Yeah. So they're up there, and then they land. Well, no, they get sort of forced down, and it turns out that they're kind of the underclass of that race, and the brains have deserted them, and they are moving to slums and sort of treated nastily by the humans. And the film sort of picks up the story of... I forgot his name.
Wickus.
Thank you, yes, Wickus, who is sort of... He's just like a bureaucratic busybody who is set up as the face of the eviction campaign to get the bugs out of District 9 and into District 10, which is a new camp further away. But predictably, it all goes wrong, and Vickers becomes part bug, and nicely bridging between Starship Troopers and The Fly, really. He becomes part bug, his nails fall off, and there's also a big sort of fascist, racist thing on the
these fit very well together. Bugweekers, as I say, Bugweekers been a brilliant.
We nailed it, I'll tell you, this is...
Yeah.
So the bugs, it all goes wrong. The government get out to get him, and he's trying to get a bug off the planet basically to go and get help for the bugs is sort of the thing, and it all goes a bit crazy. So this film is an odd one for me.
Did you see the short?
Sorry?
Did you see the short that he made before he got the money for it?
Yeah. I like that. I like his visual style. Like, that's what I like about this film. I like the look of it. I like the way the documentary style of stuff and the way it does the aliens, things like that. I don't think much of the story or of like where it goes. The last second half of this film was just dull as fuck for me. It really was. And I remember enjoying it more at the cinema, but I think it's because it was quite new, that style of how it was how it's done, seeing like very realistic looking, obviously computer generated characters, interacting with people and stuff like that. I think the strongest bit of the film is the start with when he's going around like filming the documentary and evicting them, and he's sort of being a bit of a twat, really.
Well, I find his ad-libbing really poor, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he's a bad actor, isn't he? Like, he's not a very good actor at all.
I think he's good in it. Oh, no, I disagree. No. But
I think he's good at that think and I think he reminds me a lot of Murray off like the Conchords in that first bit.
Yes.
I think you just can't carry the drama in the second bit.
No.
And I just think the story's no good. The conspiracies are sort of just weak and rubbish. The fights don't really work. You start to see the constraints of the budget and the fact they keep coming out to the same places, and it becomes very small in a way that I think the story, the way the plot goes, needed a bigger budget. It needs to become bigger. It doesn't seem to they don't seem to mesh in a way. See what I mean? Like, it didn't work for me anyway. So I was quite disappointed because I remembered enjoying it a lot more. And to be honest, I was.
It's like it needed a whole new gear at the end, really, didn't it? It needed like the ship to come alive, and maybe a whole new bunch of aliens to turn up, or you know what I mean. It needed like
it needed something, or a more convincing government conspiracy, more wide-reaching, or something like that, or something more happening. But anyway, who should go to? Alex, what did you think of District 9?
Well, I disagree with you completely. I think I don't think he's a great director. I think this is a really good film. I think this treatment of aliens, it's quite a lot like Alien Nation or like V as well.
Yeah.
And I think this, just to do this is the idea. They're not evil. They're not going to eat us all, or they're not our saviors. They're basically just refugees. And I think that just that idea alone is good enough to me to hang the rest of it on. Right. I think it's solid enough. It is a long film, but I think it's solid enough. And what I like is how, like Starship Troopers, it kind of uses the documentary stuff and all this kind of found footage style, and it kind of gives you that language that you really recognise and you buy into the world really quickly. Really, you eat it all up because you just kind of I get this, I understand it, and you kind of take it all. And then I disagree. I think the shift happens, and it almost, when he starts transforming and there's all the stuff with Christopher Johnson, the alien, the scientist alien, I think it then kind of gives you this cathartic kind of, there's so many horrible characters, there's so many arseholes in this film, and when he gets in that mech suit and he's just blasting the shit out of the Nigerians and just killing people, it just, to me, it's a big enough cathartic release that I think it works, Right. And I think it's a good enough ending that, Christopher Johnson gets away. And it's a downer ending, but I don't really think it should have had. I didn't think it could have had a bigger or better ending than that. I think it needs us because it's a real story. It's trying to say, it really is trying to, much less subtly than Starship Troopers. It is just saying, look, this is apartheid. This is xenophobia. Yeah. This is what we're doing as humans. Look what arseholes we are. But we're doing it. We're not just doing it to aliens that look like prawns. We're actually doing it to people that look like us, basically. So we haven't even got the excuse of that they're aliens.
Did you find the portrayal of the Nigerians slightly troubling, though, in that respect?
No, I don't have a problem with that, because I don't think. So I read up on that, and it's kind of it's kind of ironic that a film about racism, people then banned in Nigeria because they said it's so racist.
Yeah.
But the lead actor said he didn't. The guy that played that, the head of the gang, he didn't find it offensive as an actor portraying that character, which is important if you're making a film. And I just. No, I thought it was interesting. I think, but did Mexicans or Jamaicans ban Predator 2?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's more like just obviously like the history of Johannesburg and South Africa, isn't it? That's what sort of plays into why portraying the Nigerians is perhaps a bit troubling, because it's sort of, well, it is demonising them, isn't it? Like they're not in any way good guys, and they're sort of doing all their shame and stuff and treated as a bit silly, really, aren't they? And it's just a bit. And I don't want to get caught up on that because it's not. I'm not that. I just thought it was just an odd thing. For me.
It's kind of he must be pissed off. I mean, Neil Blomkamp must be pissed off with that because he tries to make his big point, and he's kind of I can see it. I can see the problem with it. But
I don't doubt that. I don't think he's racist, and I don't doubt that you're correct, and that it is just that's an idea he's had. Just that sounds cool, and it is cool. Yeah, I think that just. Someone should have said to him, "Are you sure about this?" Chris, what do you think of District 9?
I like it. I mean, I'm not. I think it's a personal, small story. It probably doesn't actually have to be that big, to be honest. I'm fine with it being in and around the same environment all the way through the film, and because it is just about that one guy, isn't it? But I am.
It is, but
go
on. Sorry, no, carry on.
Well, I'm troubled by his acting ability. I like I like all the weapons though; they're pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely the look of it's good.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not opposed to a small story, but I just don't think there's enough story there, even for a small story. I don't think enough happens or hangs together well enough. It just
well, they keep flicking back to his wife, don't they, and all that sort of stuff. But she's not actually in it. It's just like a shot of her looking at a photo.
and all the talking head stuff, like the acting's terrible in all of that, like mock documentary stuff as well. It really, it just seems cheap. I mean,
I don't know if it's the accent actually. Like, because
maybe I don't know.
It might be difficult to measure whether they're good or not. I don't know.
But to Alex, to your point about the idea of basically using them as like refugees and stuff like that, I think I think the premise is really, really strong, and that's why I like the start of the film. And I think it's a really clever way of doing it. I think that it is like it is kind of a short, which is what it was, and it kind of makes sense to me that like you can see it in the sense that like walking around this alien ghetto and seeing them like doing this and that, and like they eat cat food and all these little things, and it's lovely. But I just don't.
The prostitution was a bit weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, how does that work? And also the bit where he's like killing their babies as well. It's just
horrible,
it seems it's got like
horrible.
huge extremes in it, and it's played like a joke. Like they talk about they're having fun, or they sometimes like to start fights. They like actually kill people. Like
the comedy was really weird there, like because it was such a sort of an office style, wasn't it? Fake documentary, and it was kind of like he's been a bit jokey rubbish, and then he just like mass kills babies.
On and on about it as well. He goes, the popping.
Yeah,
it's like,
and then, but then, like I think that goes. Obviously, they tried to redeem him then, but I think they've gone too far there.
Especially when you see like one of the little ones, and they're actually quite cute, aren't they? The little one.
Yeah,
he does go through. I mean, he does go through pretty extreme torture to get. For them, like how they're torturing him to make him fire the weapons and then killing things, like blowing up the cow and then killing an alien. I mean, I think his arc is believable in that. Yeah, he's an arsehole, but it's that kind of. I think he's good because it's that kind of institutional racism. They're all just racist because everyone's just like, they're just prawns.
Yeah.
They're not. It's again the same as Starship Troopers. They completely underestimate them. They just say they don't know anything about them. Doesn't seem to be any kind of point where anyone's trying to talk to them or like work out who they really are. Like you say, they say they're the underclass, but then what's Christopher Johnson? How come he is a scientist? How does he know all the stuff he knows?
Yeah.
So I think again they're underestimated. It's just it plays with the idea that humanity probably would be racist like that towards an entire species we didn't understand. The same like in V, we're all suspicious of them. Like you would be suspicious of just these aliens turning up, because why would
I think it's that believable how they'd just be left in a shanty town like that as well. Like, I don't think.
What would they do with them though? What are they supposed to do with them? They can't do anything for themselves,
can they?
I think
we'd try and wipe them out. I don't think it would be like.
I
think in realism, I think it would be more. It would be more extreme than that.
No, I don't think it would. I think that's. I mean, the clever thing about that film is that it doesn't make them the aggressor, and so therefore the ghetto makes sense because you can't justify wiping out the aliens unless they are actually attacking you.
Yeah, they're not. They're not.
The film sets it up really well. That like, because they say they derail a train, don't they, something like that, and they think that's fun to them, but they're obviously realising that's not how you have fun. They're not doing it all the time and stuff like that. There's not. They are just different, but. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a strange film. I don't know what more to say.
It's interesting from a filmmaking perspective because you can see like there's a certain world there which already exists. The location already exists. Everything is there. It's just all he's doing is put a floating ship above it, and then these are the third-party CG elements to make a film like a completely out of this world film, and I think that's quite clever.
The look is fantastic, and that is its strong suit, definitely. Yeah. I mean, all his films, Elysium as well. I think Elysium was a lot worse than this. I hated that film, but I think the look of that as well is also. He's got a good eye for tech, hasn't he? He makes some good stuff.
And also, Shantytown is just like a, one of his going concerns visually, isn't it? It's just there. Yeah. It's cool.
Any more to add?
Have either of you been to South Africa?
No.
Yeah. I have.
All right.
I don't know why I brought that up.
Just showing off.
I've not been to Johannesburg, though.
Oh.
That looks like another sort of interesting location to go to. If it's anything like that.
There's not really an alien shantytown there.
Oh.
I'm sure there's real shanty towns though.
Yeah. Okay, should we rank it? Not much more to say, is there really? I don't think.
Nah.
No, not really. I mean, I'm glad we've done it because I think it does something completely different to a lot of the other films on this list.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
movie.
a positive. Yeah.
Right, Chris, do you want to go first this time then?
Yes. I will put it at 11.
15 for me.
Well, I'd say 7.
7?
Yep. I think, this is where we go back to why I put Silent Running so high. I think it's an important film, and I think what it's got to say is different to anything else. So that's why I think it should be higher up.
But I think that it squanders that so much.
But no, nothing else. Unless we hopefully we'll do Alien Nation, and then that
11.
can go higher. Hopefully,
it's at 11.
Yeah. We're not doing the average thing this week, are we? We're doing we're discussing.
Oh, okay then.
Sam's going to argue us round.
We're having fights over it this week instead.
Sam's using his Neil Patrick Harris powers to mind fuck us. No, I think it's important. I think it's really well done. I think the effects are brilliant. I think it has got problems to it. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I just think it's an important film, and what it's saying is really interesting, and it makes you think, and how he's using aliens is different from a lot of other films out there.
So,
and that should be rewarded. That creativity
as well.
Exactly. It is really unique. It's creative, it's unique,
But not very good.
But those things are important.
I don't know. I feel like someone's going to come along and make that film again, make a different version of that film that's going to be mind-blowing. And I think, one day there will be a good film that does that, but it isn't that film. That's what I think. What did you say, Chris? You said
11.
What did you say? 11.
Where's 11 then?
That is above Silent Running and below Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's not better than They Live. That's insane.
Which is insane. It's not better than Independence Day.
No, it's not. No. I put it below Independence Day.
Yeah. But
so it's going lower now.
It is better than all them other things. I just do it like I move it to where it's more, it's the lesser of two evils. So I've moved it above some pretty pedestrian films, I think.
But where would you really put it then?
No, that's where I want it. That's where it goes.
So you want it? You'd say above Silent Running.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that. I'll take it.
Well, I don't think I will. It's too high.
Well, it's 2-1, so you better do some arguing. You better do some convincing.
All right, I'll go back to the They Live. Are you sure it's better than They Live, Alex?
Argument.
I think it's better. Yeah, no, I like They Live a lot, but I just think what it does is so interesting. I'm sticking with that. I just think it's really interesting. It's original. Yeah, I think his acting's pretty good. I think all the design of like the robot where it's fitted to look like kind of the prawns. I think all that. Yeah, the guns, all the stuff in there, the documentary style. The use of that stuff. Yeah,
in his films, like he uses all the same things, and he just like tells a different story with all the same props, doesn't he?
I haven't seen these other two.
Like Elysium's got the same guns, the same, and he's got the same droids as Chappie, more or less. It's like
I haven't seen them.
He's definitely got a look.
I heard neither were very good.
Elysium is awful.
I like Elysium.
Absolutely awful. All right, let's go 11.
Well, unless you can try and argue.
Well, no, I can't because it is better than Silent Running.
Where did Sam say?
I said 15, then I changed it to 16. I know. Sorry, actually, no, 17. I don't think it's good as Independence Day. I'd rather Independence Day again.
Yeah.
No, it's better than Edge of Tomorrow. It feels very similar to Edge of Tomorrow to me. That kind of it's an alright film, but
yeah.
But I think it's better than Silent Running. So the list doesn't work, isn't it?
This is the problem with the list. It's going to slowly fragment, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's gone mad. Yeah. All right.
It's just
11 then.
To chaos.
11. And Alex isn't for budging, so.
Yeah, no.
What did you say? Sorry, Sam. What did you say? Okay.
Me, I said like 16, 17, around that sort of area.
It's better than Independence Day. It's better than Edge of Tomorrow.
It's
better than Inner
Independence
Space.
Day.
It's better than Edge of Tomorrow.
It's not better than
It's definitely better than Edge of Tomorrow. I'm not sure about Independence Day.
Actually, I'd be turned to say 17.
Oh, what? Why? Why? But for what reason?
Because he loves Independence Day. I've invoked the Independence Day rule. I've gone to the last play in the playbook, which is mentioned Independence Day.
That's the nuclear option.
Yeah, I've pressed that button. Like Bill Pullman.
I don't want to upset Alex, though.
It's really going to fall that far down.
Well, okay, so we're both saying 17. What did you say, Alex? You said...
Well, I've already compromised.
6.
I've already put it... Well, no, but I've already compromised to have it above Silent Running. So I've already compromised to go it lower.
Yeah, he's moved already.
Than I think it should be. I've already moved.
I think what about 15?
What's that under then?
Below They Live and above Paprika.
All right, because I like They Live. Right,
Okay.
fine, do it.
Hooray!
Do it, but just to move forwards.
Our listeners know
It's not my
this is total
favourite.
chaos now. This
a
listening
war of attrition.
complete chaos.
Yeah.
That's why it's good, though. This is the plan all along. Imagine episode 100. when there's 300 films. Will it be right? 300 films? No,
There's 2
is that
District
right?
9s on this list now.
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, that was a bit more interesting that time. So, after an about face from Chris, it slots in at number 14. Below They Live. Fair enough, really.
Fucking prawns.
Correct. All right, that leaves one more film, The Fly. We'll be back with that in a few minutes. Like 30 seconds, actually, but... And we're back with our third and final film of the day. From 1986, it's David Cronenberg's The Fly. Alex,
Okay.
what's the word?
So, sit back, relax. This is a professional plot synopsis. Getting ready. Based on the short story by George Laglian, can't say that, from 1957, and the 1958 movie, both of the same name. In Cronenberg's version, Jeff Goldblum plays Seth Brundle, a brilliant scientist working on a teleportation device which can move inanimate objects from one place to another but destroys any living matter put into it, including a baboon, which it turns inside out. Frustrated by the setbacks, it's only when he meets journalist Veronica Ronnie Quaife, Gina Davis, who writes for a science journal Particle magazine run by ex-lover Stathis, that he cracks the code to transporting living tissue, a revelation brought about when he starts a passionate relationship with Ronnie. Without testing his machine properly, he goes for himself in a fit of drunken, jealous rage when Veronica abandons him rather than celebrating his triumph. However, he is not alone in the telepod. And when he emerges, his body has been transformed by the device, merging his device and a fly's on a cellular level. which you would get by the fact it's called The Fly. So, you know.
Spoilers.
I'd call it Flyman.
Flyman. Well, yeah.
They should have called it. What's he called himself? The
Brundle Fly.
Brundle Fly.
Brundle Fly. That would have been a much better name. Yeah.
And the Brundle Fly.
Yeah. But I love this film. I think it's brilliant. I think David Cronenberg's brilliant. And I remember liking it when I saw it and just how disgusting it was. But watching it again, I was just impressed by how tight it is, just how it's quite a short film, but he gets through so much so quickly. Like the ideas that he puts in, you know, how he brings in, you know, he's such an amazing director, and you know he has these real kind of themes through all his work, the kind of body horror and the kind of merging of machine and all kind of flesh and technology, and he brings all these into The Fly, plus a whole load of other stuff, plus the fact that it's like a great monster film, and it's just a bit of everything. And I think it's a brilliant film, and I think Jeff Goldblum is probably his best performance, I would say.
Jurassic Park.
I just think
It's up there, though. He's really good in it.
He just goes through so many...
It's a pleasure to watch.
Yeah. He goes through so many incarnations of that character.
He could be reading the phone book and you'd just be sat there going, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
But he really, considering he's acting through tons of makeup, like 5 hours worth.
I'm pretty sure he's not acting. I'm pretty sure he's just playing Jeff Goldblum, but go on.
No, he's not though, is he? That's the thing. When it comes to Fly, like it's one of the. I've got that on my note. It's one of the few roles where he isn't Jeff Goldblum. The second half of that film,
exactly,
he could be anyone, couldn't he? He plays it really well. The transformation, I think.
Yeah. No, I think so, and I think he's pushed. Cronenberg pushes him as an actor. I think other people would have let. Well, the production company didn't want him at all. They weren't very happy with him being cast. Or Gina Davis, who he was going out with at the time. So that's a bit weird. Yeah. But I think Cronenberg pushes him and gets a much better performance out of him because he pushes him and says, you've got to make this character believable and likeable. District 9, Wickes has the same transformation, but he just goes from an arsehole to being like a nice person. But with this, Goldblum goes through he's like nice to being an arsehole to being like nice again to being horrible. He it's constantly changing. You don't really even. He doesn't understand it, and you don't understand it, and that's almost more realistic because it's not an understandable thing to happen to someone to be merged with a fly.
I love the speech when she comes back the one time and he's saying like, oh, I've got Messiah complex and I don't know about insect politics and all this sort of stuff. And he's going, you need to leave, so I can't trust myself. And he goes through like you can see, his brain falling apart, can't you? Really, really well there. It's a really cleverly written piece thing, and it's performed brilliantly.
Yeah, well, Cronenberg wrote. It was written by the original treatment was another writer, and Cronenberg pretty much came in and just rewrote it. He said, "I'll do it." He was doing Total Recall. Weirdly, before this, which would have been insane. But he came in and said, "I'll do it, but I want to rewrite it," and he pretty much made it what it was. But nicely, he still credited the original writer. But I think it is him. It's Cronenberg putting forward his beliefs, his ideas, his science fiction. His interests.
Oh, it's Cronenberg fallen through, isn't it? Yeah.
But very commercial. It's quite a commercial film, really.
Yeah.
It's quite simple though, isn't it?
The Fly.
I like how it's kind of like a little. It's very simple in its setting. There's probably only a couple of settings, and they go walk
only really three
around
characters.
Town. Yeah, it's like they shot it in one room and then they did a couple of days around town. But it's cool how it's just like a character study just of him, and then all this different prosthetic sort of changes through the film. That's great. It's a bit unbelievable how. There's two women in the film that go back to his creepy fucking like warehouse where he lives.
I thought that, yeah.
It's Jeff Goldblum. He's so charismatic.
Yeah, it's Jeff Goldblum. I'd go back there.
Yeah.
It's funny again, like I've said before, like films of the 80s, how there's a kind of a misunderstanding of what computers do and how they work.
Well, it's just they're trying to guess the future, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do.
Are.
And it just doesn't
but
exist
I think
yet.
if they had anyone involved who had any sort of computer science savvy, it wouldn't be portrayed how it was. I think it was done poorly, like how...
No, but I think the thing is, though, I think in the 80s, because computers weren't so ubiquitous, it didn't matter, because people didn't know, did they?
Exactly.
So, like, looking back now from here, obviously you go, oh, this is just stupid, but at the time, there was no call for it, because it was like, oh... This is a futuristic film. The computer can do whatever it wanted to do. So they were freer in a way, weren't they, than they are now?
Yeah.
In that
considering
respect.
she writes for a science magazine,
yes,
you think she'd have some sort of science savvy, but she doesn't. She doesn't show any like real interest in the intricacies of how this machine works. She just lolls around in her underwear.
She's also like a pretty awful journalist in the way that she kind of... He doesn't want to print the story, and she's like, well, sorry, tough shit, I'm going to print it, and then sleeps with him. It's like a day afterwards. So.
And she just videos him, doesn't she? She doesn't even really bother taking notes. She just films him a lot.
So the fly's in the capsule with him.
Yeah.
And the machine just looks at all the molecules and puts them back together, right?
Not really, no.
this is it, right? It's not
things.
Logical. It's not logical.
No, but the way the machine's working is it's like it's interpreting what's there and then making its version of it.
Yeah.
Which is
It's
why you
not
get
a
the synthetic
facsimile,
meat.
is it? That's it's like how it couldn't do the baboon, and then he like went on his little dot matrix keyboard for a few hours and spoke to the computer, and now it can suss out a baboon. It doesn't make any sense.
They don't. I mean, that is he doesn't
because it's a misunderstanding of computing.
Yeah.
But I think you've got to go there, haven't you?
Yeah,
really?
you do know, but I think it's you kind of he just says, doesn't he, that you've got to have he's got to make the computer like crave the flesh or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's
like
very
such
vague
mumbo jumbo
and
bullshit, isn't it?
I think that the 50s version, the roots of that are there. I think, to get to, I also really like it, and I think.
No, what I said before is if he had some undigested meat in his stomach and also what the fly had last eaten, the computer would see the DNA in that as well.
But it wouldn't matter because the computer isn't actually moving the DNA, is it? It's making a new him in effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not actually teleporter.
Yeah.
It's like building a new thing from what he was.
But does it look at the microbes that are living in his body, of which half of our cells are actually microbes of a different species in a human body? Does it?
That's why that thing in the meat, when he has a synthetic meat, it doesn't understand.
Yeah, but then he did his magic on it.
Yeah, so then he taught it what skin was and how to make a human be a human, whatever. I think,
but the
again,
microbes, he'd die. He'd die.
It's the wrong film to be doing this about.
Yeah. But also, it would be a worse film if it spent ages explaining that. Like, it would just be really boring. Or you'd have half an hour in the middle where he teaches out a lot to be just coding, just him sitting coding for half an hour or whatever. Yeah.
Well, it's like in Star Trek, right? If it pulls out everything when you transport anything which isn't human. Mm-hmm. You die because it would take out all the microbes and all the bacteria which live in your blood, right?
So anyway, see, I really liked it as well. What was weird for me, do either of you remember Movie Drome? Used to be on BBC Two in the 90s.
Yeah, with Alex Cox.
And then Mark Cousins.
Yeah.
So I think that's the last time I saw The Fly, because... it traumatised me, but I looked up the thing and I was 13 when I saw it, which was probably a bit young to watch it. So watching it again, I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't as gross as I remembered it.
No.
It was weird to me. It's still pretty gross, but the bit when he has all the donuts and he's filming how he eats things.
Yeah.
I can see that, because they don't actually show it, do they? He cuts away.
Oh no, he does vomit on it. Oh no, he doesn't eat it back up, he vomits on it.
Do they?
But you don't see it though.
You see him vomiting down onto it, but you don't see him sucking it.
No, only the first time. You don't when he's got the whole tray of them. You don't see him vomiting.
Okay, no.
But in my mind, I remember that. That's plagued me for 20 years, and I didn't even see it. It's really weird. But yes, it's a pleasant surprise that it wasn't as gross as I was expecting, and but still, obviously, really gross.
Yeah,
and I still couldn't.
Yeah, they make up for it when he vomits on the guy's arm and his leg.
Well, the bit with the nails is the bit that I just can't cope with.
Yeah.
That was gross in District 9 as well, but I just cannot. Nails are the thing I can't cope with. But no, I really liked it. I liked how with the soundtrack and with some of the scenes, really, it's got that kind of 50s horror root to it, hasn't it? It's very dramatic and over the top in how it does a lot of the soundtrack.
Yeah.
But at the same time, being this disgusting body horror that's very much not a 50s thing. And it is, like you mentioned before, it's kind of just like a 3-act play with a few plays. It's so small. And I think what you said, Alex, was a really good point about it being so tight, and no time wasted.
No,
the way that she meets him at that party. That must be 2 minutes of screen time, mustn't it? And you get what you need to know. He's a scientist. She's a journalist.
It's a brilliant opening. Yeah, and if you didn't know what type of film it was, it's called The Fly. But if you didn't know, it could be any type of film. It could be a romantic comedy. It could be taking her home to kill her. He could be the fly already, and he might be eating her. That opening, it could be anything. And they play with it plays with its own genre.
Well, when he's on the piano as well.
Yeah.
He's doing his own soundtrack. That's really clever as well. The way he sort of.
And also, I think, this and The Thing, I think that's two amazing directors who took classic horror films and they made them their own, and they are remakes. This is a remake of an earlier film.
They're the same special effects department people.
Both. I don't think so. Weirdly, the guy that did the effects for this, I think it got an Oscar maybe. But anyway, he's the one that directed The Fly 2, which is much more inferior to this.
That's his son, isn't it, The Fly 2? Is that right?
Yeah. He survived. Yeah, somehow he survived. But I also read David Cronenberg made an opera out of this.
Did he?
Yeah. So there you go.
It's a bit weird.
There's
There's a comic as well that's The Fly 3, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's a great film. I like Gina Davis as well. I think she's really good in it. I think she's got. I think her role's the weakest of the. I think really, in a way, I struggle with her role and the ex-boyfriend because he's like very strangely aggressive, isn't he, at the start, and then like another undeserved 180 in sort of how he is at the end.
My favourite thing of that was I didn't notice was that when he's stalking her, he's driving in his car, which has a number plate that is Particle.
Yeah, Particle.
So it's like the worst piece of stalking ever because they know it was his car. So I think it worked. I think because it moves so quick, you almost don't have time to think about those things. And she
totally.
isn't a very good scientist. She isn't a very good journalist. She's a bit silly, but she plays an important part. And you are kind of rooting for her in the end. You do feel like it is a pretty horrible situation she's in.
It would have been good, like when he goes through it right at the end, that it takes a bit of the metal from the machine. If what the computer really is doing is interpreting and not just taking the material, it'd be good if it came out as like a mecha fly, like
that'd be good.
Like it's bulletproof.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I love that end when he pops out like just completely just wrecked and he holds the gun to his head.
But I read as well there were multiple endings for it, loads and loads of endings that they did test.
Right.
Yeah, loads. Like there's one where she has another dream sequence with the baby, but it almost turns into a butterfly or something. Yeah, really weird shit. They had some really weird shit for the ending, and then in the end they just decided that there's one where Gina Davis ends up with Stathis, which they thought was just a bit of a kind of fuck you to Brundle. It was a bit of a horrible. But I think they had trouble ending it. But in the end, they did get the right ending, which is just this kind of it just stops.
It just stops. Yeah, it's such brilliant.
Which is what you want.
Yeah, I was so worried it was going to fade back up and like you'd see like an ultrasound scan or something like that of the kid. It was good. I think it really like it barrels towards the end in a way that like all those things about the characters being perhaps slightly weak don't matter because once the transformation starts, they do a really good like job of cutting away, don't they, and letting time pass. In other scenes, so you're thinking, "Oh my god, what's happened to him?" Yeah. So the next, that keeps you interested, doesn't it? Really.
And there's loads of different. Yeah, when
on the phone to her, and
when he rings her up,
has changed. And then
But there's all those different. There's like 7 almost incarnations of him, like different. Like when he's got the 2 kind of walking sticks, but kind of Michael Jackson, and he's just got really terrible skin. And there's the kind of like he just gets. It's all the. It's very well thought out. The effects department's obviously really worked on. Well, how do we move between, this creature at the end and this person at the beginning? How do we get there? Yeah. And the fact that it's practical is much better than if it was,
There's one that dodgy scene where he jumps through the window and takes her from the gynecologist.
I was just saying while you were away that
looked a bit B movie, that bit, because when he like grabs her and he's in the suit and he walks back out, because he's in fully lit, is obviously a suited man. That looked a little bit B movie, that bit.
I think that's almost a nod to the original, like the 50s. I felt like that was a nod to the proper horror. Like almost like the kind of Hunchback of Notre Dame. I felt like how I felt with District 9. I think it's kind of at that point I was so with it that I was like, I'll buy this, whatever. Like,
especially with the way the score's hitting over that, like really like dramatic sort of Hitchcock-esque over the top.
So I wonder whether it should have had like a bit of a mob scene, like Beauty and the Beast and Hunchback of Notre Dame, where where it's being under siege. That kind of that building that he lives in is kind of under siege. It's like it doesn't ramp up in scale at all. It's really just them 3 characters in the same building at the end.
I think that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
I think that's what's good about it.
Well, obviously you were going to say that.
I think that you're kind of you sort of feel.
I'd like a mob with burning torches at the door.
I mean, that would be cool, but I think that's why, you kind of you feel as vulnerable as Gina Davis in the sense that it is just her, and it's not going to go any further. I don't know. It's got a real weird tension to it, hasn't it? That I think that it's kept by it being so small scale. And I think I agree with you, Chris, that like the bit when he goes to the window and he's obviously got out of the complex there. That is the weakest bit because it is sort of like that's the scene.
He hasn't left the building at all, other than that one scene.
Yeah,
and he goes directly back to it.
That scene would go into a mob scene, wouldn't it? Like that film you're right in there with the mob scene is that fits there. It doesn't fit in this film where it's a much smaller sort of thing. Yeah. But no, it's. I really enjoyed it. I really thought it was, even despite being grossed out by it, I think it was a really good, a good watch, definitely.
I actually couldn't remember it from when I seen it years ago, because when she was having the dream sequence baby and it was coming out of her, I couldn't remember what the fuck it was, and then I realised it's a big maggot. But
that's David Cronenberg in that bit.
I thought it was going to be horrendous. But
it's I remembered like. Literally all the gore, like the arm break, the inside out gorilla and stuff like that. Everything is like seared into my brain, but in my brain it's 10 times worse than it is on the.
I thought his jaw came off in one bit, but I can't.
It does.
Is it?
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah,
I must have missed that bit. I know his whole face falls away and he becomes like it shows.
No, before that, it's like when she first goes up to him, isn't it? His jaw falls off.
Right.
Yeah, that shot's definitely in it.
Yeah.
And then, that's it. It's when he grabs her, isn't it? It's the first thing that happens. And then as he walks back, more and more of it falls away.
Yeah.
I think as well, with the models, it's a good decision to not show the actual fly for very long, isn't it, at the end? Like, they really, like, don't do much with it, because obviously that's a bit more hard to pull off.
Obviously not capable of doing very much that.
Yeah, totally.
And that's why it was all in one location, because other than, I mean, just control-wise, I think it was more... It's easier to do.
Yeah, good film. Good stuff. It's been a good week, really, hasn't it? It's three good.
Best
two
week,
films and
I
one
think.
okay film.
Best week for me.
Best week.
Where does it go though?
So I'll go first this time. Now let me think. I'm going to say 7 or 9 for me.
Oh, okay.
I can't decide. Come back to me. 7 or 9. Chris.
Yeah, I think that's sort of for me. Guardian of the Galaxy is too high on this list for me, so I have to take that into consideration. Yeah, I'd say 7.
Alex?
I'd say 5.
Not better than Starship Troopers.
I think it is. Because I think Starship Troopers is great.
Not better
but
than
I think it's
either.
the other level of Starship Troopers. I had to kind of like, I didn't get that until I read a lot about it. Whereas I get everything with The Fly, and I think it's I think it's a great director, kind of, playing with horror, playing.
It's almost
with science
like
fiction.
a bit of a drama sort of. It could work on stage, couldn't it? The Fly?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think he could do a play of it.
yeah.
Yeah, just have to have really good effects.
Well, didn't he say he did an opera, didn't he? So that's,
Yeah. Weirdly. Yeah.
I was trying to think of an opera, like a music pun, an insect music pun, but I can't think of one.
I don't know. I think it is better than Predator 2.
But is it better than Starship Troopers?
I don't think it is. Because
7.
Like, I didn't have to read about Starship Troopers to get all that. Like, it does a lot. There's a lot more to get in Starship Troopers than this. Like, and I understand that's a weakness as well as a strength. But for me, I've got more reason to rewatch Starship Troopers than I have.
I just love spaceships and stuff as well, and
I love spaceships. Yeah, and I don't like being grossed out.
Okay, so it goes under Starship Troopers. I'm happy with that.
Should we go 6 then? Is that?
6.
I think we can.
6
all
is fine. Yeah, 6 is fine.
Cool.
Defeated again.
I'd like to make
you
a
got
film
pretty
like
close
that,
then.
though. I'd like to make a film like that because it really focuses on the performance. It's single location, super basic in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But it's just, you just need a cracking lead, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And amazing effects.
Not really amazing effects. They do the job.
Yeah, it's the performance that. I mean, because it's a rubber suit, isn't it? And you can see it a lot of times as a rubber suit, but because of how well it's played, you just buy into it, don't you? It's, and I think that the script as well, it's like there's an economy to it that definitely helps. In that, like, the conversations they have, they're all very sort of stilted and sort of short. And initially, I thought they're not very speaking very naturally to one another. But then you realise, well, that's sort of how the films.
Yeah,
it's got
because everyone does
brains.
it works. Yeah,
yeah. It's a very 80s sort of thing, isn't it? It's very sort of. I don't know what the word for it is. It's that kind of like detached sort of. I don't know. Oh, I can't think of the words. It's too late. Anyway, I liked it. That'll do.
It's fine where it is. It was like you say. It was a strong week. Starship Troopers is an amazing film too. So I'm not going to be upset with that.
Cool, brilliant. So we're done. So there's a new top 5. Let's do top 6. Number 6, The Fly. Number 5, Starship Troopers. Number 4, Ghost in the Shell, the 1995 version. Number 3, Jurassic Park. Number 2, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. And number 1 is still Aliens. At the bottom, unfortunately, A Scanner Darkly is still sat at 24, with Universal Soldier and Safety Not Guaranteed rounding out the bottom 3. Thus ends this week's rankings. Let's do some plugging. No, let's not. First of all,
We had
What's the
correspondence.
theme of next week?
We have a new what, Chris? Sorry, correspondence.
Correspondence.
I don't think we have.
Has
So everyone better get in
watching,
touch.
reading, or listening.
Well, we have had. I have had correspondence, but not really stuff that is interesting with the people.
Not related
People
to the podcast.
Yes.
Don't just want to know about your bank statement or your normal emails.
I had an email about penis enlargement.
Yeah. There's a sale at Burton's, apparently. That's what I heard. No, a few people have got in touch to say they're enjoying it, which is good. And I hope more people carry on enjoying it.
Yeah.
If you want to talk to us, email us about the list, or any suggestions for things we can do, anything like that, mail at sciencefictionratingsystem.com is where to get in touch, or at SF Rating System on Twitter, or you can go to sciencefictionratingsystem.com, where there's a little contact form somewhere. Next week, we are actually genuinely going to be going next week. Normally I say next week, and it's 2 weeks, but no. next week there will be a podcast. We are switching to a weekly format as a test, where we're going to we're going to reveal what the films will be next week. So we're not going to tell you now what the films are. That's for you to decide and guess and tell us what you think we should be doing. So, Chris, what is the theme for next week?
Should I know this?
All right, Alex, what is the theme for next week?
Prequels to link in with the Alien Covenant coming out.
Yeah, so Alien Covenant is out. Will be out by the time we get around to this. So we're going to look at 3 other prequels. And we won't say what they are. So you've got a week to sort of give us your thoughts, decide what they are.
Suggest.
Yeah, and then the week after we'll reveal what they are, talk a little bit about them,
and then you've got a week to watch them, yeah.
And a week
they
to
might
watch
actually
them.
come up with some better ones than what we've potentially come up with, right?
Yeah, maybe. They might do, yeah. But yeah, so it's a bit different, but hopefully it'll work out. It's based so we can keep something coming each week, as we're told that's what you need to do in this line of work. Yes.
Does anyone else listen to any podcasts?
I listen to loads, yeah.
What do you listen to? The sci-fi ones? Any sci-fi ones? Or?
I listen to Geek's Guide to the Galaxy occasionally, which is like a wired one. I
was listening to Star Trek The Next Generation, what's the next conversation, and they're watching every episode of The Next Generation.
Oh, I wanted to do that. That was my idea.
And
as well.
It's been done.
You could get in on the ground floor on this because they're only on like episode 10 or something.
Oh, right. I'll have to listen to that.
It's good.
Yeah, I want to do that. Well, I don't listen to any of the science fiction ones, I don't think. No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah. And how about you, Alex? Any podcasts?
No, I'm too busy watching these films every week.
You're a creator.
Yeah, and watching horror films. I'm watching horror films.
True, yeah.
I'm watching science fiction films. I don't have any other time.
Speaking of horror films,
Well, you had 2 birds with 1 stone with these.
Well,
week.
yeah,
That's true, yeah.
No, exactly.
have you reviewed it for your site? Or?
I don't know if we did The Fly. I think we did. We've done a hell of a lot of Cronenberg. So if we hopefully we're going to get to Scanners. I would like to do Scanners. I would like to do...
What about Existence? What's your
Existence
thought
is
on that?
paused. I like Existenz Brief. I saw it drunk, so I'd like to see it again, to be honest.
Such a weird film, that is.
Yeah, I just like that bit where he yells Existenz paused. And obviously...
I love his bone gun. The bone gun thing they have.
Yeah, Videodrome. Videodrome's amazing. We should do that at some point.
Yeah.
That's
didn't you know the saying, be afraid, be very afraid? Was that invented for The Fly?
I
Is that when
that.
people say
it's
to you,
it's
be
a
afraid,
line from
be
The
very
Fly, isn't
afraid.
it?
Yeah.
And it's on the poster as well,
It's on the
isn't it?
poster, but I don't.
Yeah, I
was,
wonder
that,
if it
was that invented by that? You know, it's like
I don't know.
that Richard Lewis thing where he goes. He invented the. What did he say he invented?
Oh, what is that term? I can't remember.
The weird thing I read about that is, do you know what Seth Brundle wears, and he makes says the thing about Albert Einstein always wore the same outfit all the time.
Yeah.
So and I was looking at that outfit, and I was thinking that outfit looks quite familiar to me, really weirdly.
Yeah.
And when I was looking up for this, his outfit is extremely similar to Mr. Bean's outfit.
Yeah.
And then also even weirder is the first Mr. Bean film. The tagline was "Be afraid, be very afraid. He's got a passport." So did they know
They're
that?
lying on
weird.
Did they know that they were doing that? Was it deliberate or not? Like, it's kind of weird, isn't it? So,
And also, I thought, right, if the machine, I thought that the joke was going to be, because I completely forgot I'd seen this film, I forgot everything about it. I thought he had all them suits and shoes in his wardrobe. I thought, he's using the teleporter to make facsimiles of his clothes, so he doesn't have to buy any, save money. Then I realised the machine doesn't work like that, does it? Because it destroys the original one and just copies. Like, if he had to, he'd have actually made something useful.
Yeah, replicator.
Because that would get rid of, poverty and all sorts.
Yeah.
The Richard Lewis phrase, Chris, was the blank from hell.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I thought it was something to do with hell.
He's actually, the Yale Book of Quotations actually does attribute that to Richard Lewis.
Are we talking about Be Afraid? Or
No, the blank from hell in real life. But apparently it's not true anyway.
What does it say about Be Afraid, Be Very Afraid?
Shall I have a look?
I think it's from this. I think it's... Unless it's in the original... No, I think it's in this. It
would make sense if it's on the poster, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
But I forgot it was a line. I remembered it as a tagline, but not an actual line that she says.
Yes, it is. It originates from the film The Fly, yeah.
There's a bit of a trope, when people acquire superpowers in films.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing they do is they go out in the town and go into a dive bar.
Yes, yeah. And there's always one guy.
Yeah. And
like
they turn the jukebox on to a song that they want, and then they start fracas with people.
This silly. People should realise in bars, if someone comes in and challenges you to anything and looks like they can't beat you, they definitely can beat you.
Yeah. And their skin is falling off.
Yeah. They're just wearing a jacket and no shirt underneath.
Yeah.
Or they're wearing glasses and they're really Superman.
Yeah. Right, let's do some plugs. Chris, where are you? What are you doing?
I'm in London. I'm just doing this at the moment. Okay, so Chris Redding, Twitter, Instagram, all that. I don't think I've got anything out at the moment. I made a little short film 2 weeks ago, but that's not really...
Fingers crossed for it, though.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. I'm at lovehorror.com and Love Horror on Facebook and Twitter.
Cool. I am Will the Robot on Twitter, samdraper.net for all the music in this show.
EP coming soon.
Good music.
Yeah.
We need to do a music video, I've decided, the three of us.
That'd be good. Yeah.
I've got the time machine. I've got all that shiz left over from my other films that we can use.
Promo. We'll have to get on that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks guys. Remember, prequels next time.
Peace.
Get thinking. And we'll see you all in a week.
Bye.
Good night.
Cheers.